Let's talk about Occupy Ghana. We know that it's a pressure group as far as the classification of groups are concerned, and well, they are putting a lot more pressure on the Attorney General's department, saying that the Attorney General has failed to make certain disclosures which have the potential of recovering tens of millions of Ghana cedis.
Is it the Auditor General or Attorney General?
The Auditor General. The Auditor General. It has therefore given the Auditor General a 14-day ultimatum to respond to his demands, failing which the Occupy Ghana as a group shall immediately commence legal proceedings. It means they'll be going to courts. And we know the activities of Occupy Ghana and how they've become very much instrumental in public discourse.
Well, I'll move from the general to the specific. I think Occupy Ghana is doing very well. You're doing very well because whether we like it or not, middle class, probably they could have minded their own business, but we are all living under one roof. If it should collapse, it will collapse on all of us. And they think that they should use some of their resources, their talents, their intellectual ability to shape things in this country. And that's very good. But we have professionals who think that instead of just charging for services they have rendered, they should rather spend their time to do research, to advocate, to get things better. And it's good. They should not be deterred by those who think that they can tag them, that they are tied to the apron strings of opposition parties, etc. They should not be deterred. They are doing a very good service for the nation, and no level of name-calling should really affect them. They should go on. And if you look at what they are doing, they are looking at our institutions. We are not sometimes they come at politicians, fine, but they want to see how our institutions are run. And in this specific case, they are talking about the Auditor General saying that they want the Constitution to be amended because the Constitution is restricting them from imposing surcharge on those who have spent some money that they were not supposed to spend. And the Occupy Ghana group is saying that let us know the kind of surcharges that you think that you are restricted in imposing on those who have spent our monies wrongly. And let's know how far you have even gone with this kind of situation. Are you saying that in every situation where you find that those who are supposed to authorize the expenditure have done the wrong thing and you too are restricted? Are you saying that it's in every situation? Or have you done some of these surcharges that we don't know? We want to know. And then if you're saying that your hands are tied, let's know how your hands are tied. And you are a public body. We expect that you follow what the Constitution says. And if you're not able to do it, then the only recourse is to go to the law courts, to get a court to ask you to bring what information you have that probably you are not sharing with the rest of the country. So it's something very good. And as I said, it takes a lot of hard work, research and everything to be able to put some of these institutions on their toes. And if only they can even restrict themselves to the ages, Attorney General, Auditor General, and Accountant General, they will be doing a lot of good for us. They should not be bothered about what people will say. They are doing very good service for the nation. And if people are daring them, so be it. The only thing is that even if the government should change, they should still be doing that service. Some of us will not have any problem at all. If a controller and accountant general has been put there by a government and he's not doing his work, I don't think government should wake up in the morning defending that controller and accountant general. That person should defend himself and should show to the whole world that he's delivering. So if governments should even change and they are still doing this, some of us would always applaud them for it. So they should not be bothered at all about giving some going that far that, oh, this is an MPP wing. If it's an MPP wing, some of us will be
because I was just about to raise
some of us will be so happy. That means the MPP is very
because
strong.
For many of the responses, which will be considered as just cheek and tongue comments or rebuttals, that, well, Occupy Ghana, not running away from the substantive of what they are saying, is just an appendage of the opposition, etc. It gives an indication that perhaps their existence, it's been, in many respects, been diluted as far as their own objectives are concerned.
Sorry,
okay. But what is the substance of the issues they are raising up? Does it make sense? I mean, even if
these are critical issues, really.
I mean, really, yeah. I mean, they are critical issues. They are things that concern people. I know some of the people in Occupy Ghana. I've never viewed them as MPP. So all of a sudden but people are entitled to be, MPP if they want to be MPP. But we should stop. I find it nauseous when it becomes, it's as soon as you say something and it's against the government, you must be MPP, and if you say something and it's for the government, you must be NDC. I mean, really, in this country, is that all we are, NDC and MPP? I mean, aren't we just Ghanaians who want the betterment of this country, who want things to be done properly, who want things to go well so that our lives will be better? I mean, look, this country, when you hear some of the things that are going on, it's as if you are fetching water with a basket. It's leaking, and yet we are being taxed here today. Tomorrow they're taxing the same people over and over again. Maybe if we were, fixing this basket and making it into a bucket, we'll probably be not leaking, so much. If people have embezzled funds or people have misapplied funds and have not done things properly, it's important that the laws work. I think that the AG has come up with so many things, and not necessarily politicians. It's come up with so many indictments against civil servants, etc., etc. When you hear some of the stories about things happening in the district, a DCE is supposed to do this. I mean, you are horrified. And so if people are supposed to bring monies back, and some people have asked for it, that what has happened and what is it, and the AG is also behaving in a particular manner. If the only resort is to go to a court and where things can be done properly and we would get results, so be it. And it really doesn't matter even if they are MPP, if we will get results that are going to be good for this country. I think that governments should listen. When people say things, you should look at it carefully, even if it is coming from your worst enemy and it makes sense and it is for the good of this country. It should be done. I mean, the fact that it's coming from a particular source, if it's good for this country, say, because it's coming from them, so I think that if your car was burning and you and I were having an issue, and I came to say, Roland, your car is burning, you say, oh, let it burn because you said it. Really? I mean, I think that we've had enough of that kind of thing in this country.
I know you want to make a comment, but once you make the comment also, I want you to also address, how do we make sure that dispassionately, as we tend to look at issues of governance and responsibility in public expenditure, when concerns are raised by some of these groups, whether the groups will be in existence the next 4 years or 5 years, it doesn't matter, that these comments and these concerns are taken for the sake of it, for the objective for which they are being raised, and not necessarily being eyed politically or with a political sense or lens.
Well, some of these things elsewhere, they will not be tolerated. There's no way a minister of state can respond in a certain manner and civil society and the media will not take that minister on. It cannot happen. That this is a genuine issue that has been raised. Instead of responding to that issue, you think you can just say that this is an appendage of a political party and then you go to bed. Look at what they are talking about. Over the weekend, they were even talking about payroll audit. We've been spending so much on so-called ghosts. And every time, to the extent that even the donor community is talking about it. So if people raise issues about such situations, what the rest of the nation would want to hear is how far you've gone in addressing some of these issues. You don't then hit at personalities. He belongs to party A, he's a hypocrite, he's in politics, but he doesn't want us to know. These are trivial issues that I don't expect those who run the country to be indulging in. The major thing is, what are the issues? And some of the issues, they are not even directly at government. If it's payroll audit, if it's Controller and Accountant General who has been cited for not doing the right thing, let them come out and say that these are the facts and figures. This is what we've done, this is how far we've gone, this is what we intend to do, these are the challenges. Then we will interrogate some of these things. But for you to just rubbish everything and then attack personalities because they have said something that you think it will reflect badly on government. It's not good enough. And even if it were a political party saying it, so what? We are entitled to say it, so far as their facts and figures are accurate. What's wrong with it? The country is not for any one group of people. And how about those who couldn't be bothered about politics at all? But they pay tax, they are responsible citizens, they also contribute in running the nation or even developing the country. How about those people? Are they not entitled to answers? Does it always have to be politics so that you hide under the political canopy and then do the wrong thing? I don't think it's good enough. We need to insist on some of these things, and I expect that probably you in the media, even if you will also be tagged, so be it. Now you live but once on this earth, and you have to also contribute your quota. That's how I see it.
Or you just say live but one. Reminds me of a song
yes.
by a British actor as well as singer I know, and I love. He said, "You only live once."
Yes.
Live but once also.
Yes.
Okay, but Susan, we seem to be deploying a lot more systems and technologies for which we're paying hard-earned cash, with approvals even made by Parliament and report also by the Finance Minister to Parliament, etc. But for years, we don't seem to be seeing the results. As far as, for example, payroll fraud is concerned, monies that are paid but not tracked, whether they've been used for the right project, etc. And we're talking about private contractors, we're talking about even expenditures within the public system and even the local government structures. How should we make sure that, well, while government is concerned that this could reflect badly on its image, the actions that are taken are also taken for the sake of it, not necessarily being politicized in many respects?
Well, I'm not sure I understand your question, but
we're deploying systems.
We have those.
Government thinks, but we're not seeing the result of.
Yeah, I mean, so every system, you must have a point where you are monitoring the system, and you are evaluating the system, and you've put indicators there to see whether you are achieving the results that you want. And if that is not happening, you need to find out what is happening. Is it the human beings who are subverting the system? Do you need to change it? I mean, or there are certain weaknesses in the system that are allowing people to exploit it, or people are not trained properly in the system. You bring a system, people are not trained properly. You take a handful of people, you train them, it doesn't run, it doesn't trickle down, and not everybody is in the know, and so it doesn't work properly. I think these are things that we ought to look at. I think that, you know, I remember, I think it was in the MPP era where they did the head count. You had to go, we registered again, because I've always worked in Kwesai, you know, we registered again, we put our names. Now, again, you go and they take your picture, etc., etc. Yet we're still finding ghosts amongst us. I mean, I think that...
Even our voters register, we have multiple. So sometimes...
of course. We must be looking at the system consistently, you know, and reviewing it. We must have people thinking about it. That is their sole purpose, to think through the system, to make sure that it's running perfectly. If there are loopholes, yes, we human beings, people will always want to subvert it for their own good, exploit it and make money out of it. But they should always have people who are there making sure that, you know, all those loopholes are being closed. You know, I think that sometimes we say the system, we have a seminar for one group of people, maybe the managers, and the managers... I'm sure you've attended some.
No, really.
And then, no, I've not attended any of those things, but I know it happens where they, in fact, sometimes the people that they have called for that seminar are totally inappropriate. They are not the line managers, they're the top hierarchy, they understand it, they go, it's not passed down, it doesn't trickle down, so the man at the bottom is not doing the thing that is supposed to go. Or they have one, it's not comprehensive enough, people. So it's good to have a system on paper, but we must make sure that that system runs properly, and there are people who are constantly thinking through that particular system to ensure that is it. And people must be held accountable. I mean, in this country where civil servants have tenure, and so it becomes, I mean, I don't know, a field day for doing anything and everything, and accounting for nothing. You get it? If the public sector doesn't work, I'm sorry, this country will not work. And this country is, at this moment, is not working because the public sector is really not working. And you find that with this Occupy Ghana, yes, life has become, the quality of life has decreased even for the middle class, and that is why they are sitting
They go
up.
to shopping malls all the time.
No, they go to shopping malls all the time.
They travel all the time if they want to.
Yeah, but
they buy new cars if they want to.
But
they can access.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that their quality of life has not decreased.
If you buy a new car,
because if you buy,
and you don't have power in your home.
No, I mean,
you spend
really,
more on fuel to fuel your generator.
You understand? You're always buying petrol, diesel for your generator. You have to do your own borehole in your. You understand? You walk on the roads, and the thing is that it is also in their interest to ensure that things are done right. Because if the under masses, get up, it won't matter whether you are a civil servant or not. They will look at you. You seem rich. You seem you'll be a target. And so it's an enlightened self-interest for the middle class. No, it really is an enlightened self-interest for the middle class to stand up and ensure that things are done properly. Because whatever happens to the masses will affect them.
Okay.
We go to the same markets anyway. We go to we go to the same churches. Yes, we go to the same churches. They look, the people in the church,
we go to different sections of the market.
I don't know about that. Which section of the market are you talking about? Which is for rich people and which is for poor?
If they don't occupy Ghana, the masses will occupy them.
Well, true.
Yeah.
So it's more, very much
in their own interest.
Proactive.
In their own interest to see.
Now, as we conclude our discussions on this, is it that we don't have the competence to ensure that these things are perhaps kept, not necessarily stopped? Or is it also we lack the leadership?
Well, if you look at the latest effort, that is the gift miss. You're trying to.
How many years? We've been hearing that for the last 2 years.
Yes, they've been trying to address it. But the reality is that somebody may be working, a person will die. Somebody may be teaching, let's say, in the rural areas, and then he will decide to even not go to work anymore. Maybe secured a visa, is out of the country, or has changed jobs. It's for those who are paying these salaries to know early enough to stop such salaries. If it goes on for 6 months, obviously you've created a ghost that we're all talking about. And one is lack of information. Two is connivance. Some people working in those places would identify such a situation. For 6 months, this person is not taking his salary. Do we put in a suspense account? And then who manages the suspense account? Those are the challenges. And it happens all over. Anybody can identify to it. Your parent may die, and before you're aware, maybe 6 months, if the person is still working, 6 months they'll be paying the person. Or even if it's pension, they expect that they'll be paying pension for all those months because one, they are not aware that that person is no more. And as I said, people may change jobs, people may travel, and they still earn salaries. How do we address these things? If genuinely we know that this is a problem, we need to address it. But if people also take advantage of such a system, then obviously we'll be going round and round. So the best thing is to secure the most sophisticated technology to be able to address this. But as to whether we've put in the structures to be able to identify all these things, it's another matter.
Do we have the leadership?
We leaders talk about it every day. In this country, that's the culture now. Talk about it and you'll be seen to be working. So you can spend the whole day talking and then maybe spend an hour in the office and you are seen to have worked very well. You may even earn Minister of the Year or MD of the Year. The reality is that because you have the gift of the gab, you can just talk and talk and talk without really working. I believe that...
But having a gift to talk is not a bad thing.
Not as if you spend less time talking and more time doing what you be asked to do. It will help everybody. Then just anything you jump at it. And then if we look at your targets at the end of the year, probably you've achieved only 1/3 of it or less. And then the excuse you give is that the Ministry of Finance did not even release money for us to work, when you have not even brought your own vision onto the whole platform. So those are issues.
Your concluding comments?
Well, I mean, it could be incompetence, as you said. It could be, to put it simply, abro and be, just people.
Sheer negligence.
Willingly. Or the much about nothing.
Willful negligence.
Yes, willful negligence. You know, just wanting to do the wrong thing. And so incompetence, not knowing a lack of comprehensive training on it, but connivance, and some people it's just apathy. We're seeing a lot of apathetic Ghanaians, such with a Ghana in your media, and that kind of thing, and will not go out of their way to ensure that things run properly. I think that is sad. We lose out, all of us, if we take that attitude.
Okay. Thanks for joining me this morning. I haven't seen you the whole of the year. I say Happy New Year to you all.
Yeah,
all right.
I
hope you enjoy your time working for Ghana.
Yes.
And I've had as my guest this morning Susan Nedua-Mankwa. She is a pharmacist with the topmost research institution in West Africa, Noguchi, and she's also the first vice chairperson of the CPP. She is not a member of Occupy Ghana, though, and we have one other person who's also
be joining them soon.
Oh, you're joining. They don't accept politicians, apparently. I have to tell you. He also won't be accepted in Occupy Ghana.
Yes.
May lend support though, and he's a lawyer.
I will sympathize with that.
Obi Amwa Sebunsuamwa is a member of Parliament for Ikuap himself. Thanks for joining me, sir.
Thank you. Very much.
Well, we have a lot more to talk about, but again, the reports are ongoing that workers of the Metro Mass Transit Company, especially in the Ashanti region, they have started a strike action, and following that we have huge traffic lines or queues at its stations, and as a result of that passengers are stranded, and we've been getting a lot more information on that. We'll be getting a lot more citations as we have our reporters who have lined themselves up in various regions to give you a vivid picture as to what the current situation is with the Metro Mass Transit Company. In the meantime, though, we're taking a break. When we come back, we'll have a lot more for you.